Beardo Benjo.
Hello there everyone, I wanted to bring you something a little bit different today in terms of a video. Now if you've never seen my videos before, typically I do VR stuff, gaming stuff, horror games, weird games, simulator games. Basically, I do videos about games. But today I'm going to try something a little bit different. I'm just going to do a video where I just chat and tell a little bit of a story. It kind of dawned on me the other day that I've spent a big chunk of my life, most of my life, working in retail. Now most of that time was spent up working for the UK retailer Game. Now my time at Game was a treasured experience for me. It formed most of who I am, and I got to work in an industry where I was passionate about the product. So I'm not here to badmouth the company. That's not what this video is. So if you're here for that, you can move along. I'm here to just share some stories, and in particular just one story today, because I realised that when you work in a retail environment, and when you work in any environment, things happen, weird things happen, and in retail more than other environments, some seriously weird stuff happens. So I thought I'd share some of those weird stories and weird instances that I've kind of come across over the years, and I've picked this particular story because, well, one, it's the first one that came to my mind, and two, because it's super unique. So this story happened while I was working at Game, and it's completely true. I didn't make any of this up. It may sound a little bit bizarre, but I promise you this is true, and there are people that can fact check this for me. So I worked at Game for many years, around about 12 years I think in total, maybe a little bit longer than that. I had a break in the middle where I went away to university. I thought I wanted to be a filmmaker, I went and did media production, but it turns out I didn't want to make films, I just like films. And that's something you have to learn for yourself, I guess. So I worked at Game for a very long period of time, and at this point I wasn't the store manager, but I was the store manager for a long period of time. At this point I think I was the deputy manager, but I could be wrong, I may have been the store manager. On this particular day, I was standing at the front of the store, as you do. It's one of the things you'll see in a lot of retail outlets. In the Game, they call it golden mat. You stand at the front, and the reason is because they want someone to greet and someone to say goodbye to the customers as they come in, and someone that can also help with queries on the shop floor, a visible shop floor presence. So I was standing down there, minding my own business. A lot of the time that can be a little bit dull, because you're waiting for interaction really, you're waiting to talk to customers, and as a store manager you can oversee what everyone else is doing as well, so you can kind of get a good overview of the store, kind of find out what's going on the till, and you can step in if there's any problems. But on this particular day there was nothing like that happening. I was just standing at the front. Now while I was standing down there, minding my own business, all of a sudden one of my staff members comes running up to me, and he's like freaking out, and he's like, I need your help. You need to come to the till and help me with something. And normally I'm kind of like, oh okay, someone's kicking off, a customer's got an issue, I need to step in and resolve it, and I don't mind that stuff, I'll go and have that conversation, not a problem. So I thought, okay, what could it be? And then he said to me, are you any good with spiders? And at that point I was like, no, I'm not helping you, I am not good with spiders, I'm not coming, I'm not doing it, shut up, leave me alone. Now to give you the rest of the story, I have to kind of fast track back a little bit and give you that particular retail assistant's side of the story and kind of his events that led to him coming up to me and asking me if I was any good with spiders, which I am not. I hate spiders. If I see one, I'm awful. My missus comes to me to help her deal with spiders, but I don't know why, because I'm just as bad as she is, probably worse actually. So yeah, I'm not good with spiders, but I digress. So the retail assistant that was working for me, he was over at the till and he was serving. He was doing his normal daily routine, just running things through the till, serving customers as and when they came up. There he is serving along, and a customer comes up with a PlayStation 4. Now they sit the PlayStation on the side and they say basically they bought this PlayStation from us and it worked for a period of time, it was absolutely fine. I think it was a pre-owned one, it was a used console, but then all of a sudden it stopped working. And you know, that's fine, we get that quite a lot. Typically we get these consoles back, we do have to set them up and test them just to kind of see whether they are broken or see whether it's something we can fix, and then we kind of confirm the fault, and then we'll swap it over as long as it's within warranty, all that kind of thing. So they place the PlayStation up on the side. My colleague takes the PlayStation, sits it on the back counter, gets out of the box, sets it up to confirm that it doesn't work. So he's there and he's tinkering around, plugging it all in, blah blah blah, normal stuff. He plugs it all in, he sets it all up. Lo and behold, the thing doesn't turn on. It just will not turn on. He cannot get power out of this thing. And you know, that is a pretty surefire sign that the thing's dead. There's not much we can do to fix that in the store. We can try a different power cable, but realistically, when these things don't power on, that's it, it's done. We need to send it back to head office, or you know, send it back to the manufacturer. So he confirmed the fault and he could see that this thing wasn't working. And he went to the customer and said, look, yeah, I can confirm that's not working. I will get you another PlayStation. They were within the 12-month warranty period that we give, and I think it was a PlayStation, it was a pre-owned one, so he's like, okay, I'll go and get you another pre-owned PlayStation 4. So he goes and gets another pre-owned PlayStation 4 for them, and he runs the transaction through the till. So he returns the pre-owned console, happy days, sells the new one, the working one, and hands it over to them. So at this point, they have the new pre-owned console, the working one that we've just swapped over. They've got it in their hand in a bag on the other side of the till. And I believe it was a dad and a son that were doing the transaction. Not that it really matters, but they were on that side of the till, the two of them, with the new console. And they were just finishing off the transaction, you know, doing the kind of aftercare stuff. The faulty PlayStation at this point is on the back counter, still set up, so it's still plugged in, it's still just sitting there. We tend to leave it, and then when the customer's gone, we'll pack it away and we'll do the faulty process and take it upstairs, all that kind of stuff. So at this point, and the transaction is basically done, the customer says, one more thing, there's a game stuck inside the machine. The last game we played, it's in there, it won't power on, we can't get the disc back. So my colleague at this point is like, well, okay, there's a few things we can do here. We can basically, and if you have one of the old PlayStation 4s or you've ever had one, you can basically remove like a panel on the top. You slide a panel across and you've got access, and you can see the hard drive, and there's kind of like a little, basically a little inbuilt thing where you can put a pin down and you can turn it, and you can make discs kind of eject manually. It's kind of like a fail safe, so if the thing does break and there's a disc inside, you can get your disc back. Now the colleague that I worked with was aware of that, so he was like, oh, don't worry about it, I'll get your disc back, not a problem at all. He this is all true, I promise you it's all true. He goes to the console, places one hand on the one side, another hand on the little panel that you can slide off, and he slides it off. As he slides it off, he lets out a scream. Now, I don't think I heard the scream at the front of the store. I could say that I did, but I can't remember hearing it. But I know all the other colleagues heard it because they recounted it back to me as an exceptionally girly scream. So he slides the panel off and lets out this scream, because as he slides the panel off, bugs come crawling out from within the console. And I'm not talking one bug, I'm not talking two bugs, lots of bugs. He sees them scurrying out of the console onto the back desk and burrowing deeper within the insides of this console. This is all very true. So he freaks out, he thinks they're spiders, he loses his mind and he walks away. He's like, I can't deal with that, I'm not dealing with that anymore. A few other colleagues at the till point at the time had to step in and kind of intervene to try and help, but effectively it was a mess. They were freaking out. There was bugs crawling out of this console. It was like something from some weird horror film. They were losing their minds. The thing we needed to deal with was the customer. The customer's standing there with the console. This is going to be weird and embarrassing for them. They've brought us some bizarre bug-infested PS4 and given it to us, so we just want to get them out of the store. So at this point, we just give them another copy of the game that was stuck inside. I cannot remember what it was, but my colleague gave them a second copy of the game. Because we knew we weren't getting that disc back, because he didn't want to go near the machine at that point, and all the other colleagues didn't want to go near the machine at that point because there was bugs inside it. So he gives them another copy of the game they've lost. They leave the store. They're happy, they're done. We didn't want to leave them hanging around, or they didn't want to leave them hanging around. I had no say in it at this point. I was still at the front of the store minding my business. So we wanted to get them out of the store, because it's an embarrassing thing. If you bring something back that's faulty and all of a sudden bugs come running out of it, that's a weird thing to happen. That doesn't happen all the time. So they left the store. It was at this point that my colleague came up to me at the front of the store and said, like, are you good for spiders? And I'm like, no, I don't want to deal with this. I don't like the sound of this. But I went over anyway. When we got there and we started inspecting it, it was quite clear that it wasn't spiders, it was cockroaches. Now, they're not the big chunky black ones you see like in America and stuff. I've never really seen one of those big cockroaches here in the UK. But they are like little brown ones, and there was a ton of them in there. There was a lot of them. One of them had got out and gone running off onto our counter, and we don't know where it went. We think it might have gone into our disc cleaning machine. We've got these machines that kind of clean your disc. They buffer it up if you get scratches on there. We think he might have gone and lived in there. I don't work in the store anymore. I've left. I work for a new company now, but he could still be in there for all we know, living his life, living his best life, multiplying, getting ready for one day where he just bursts forth and spreads his spreads his family into everything else in the store. But the machine was filled with these things. So it wasn't my idea to do this. It was a different colleague, not the one that dealt with the transaction, but a different colleague, a female colleague, who I believe, basically, we had to return this thing to head office. That's the process, is that you're supposed to return the console to head office because it's faulty. They have a faulty process. But we kind of decided we can't do that. we can't send this cockroach-infested PlayStation back to head office. Cockroaches, by their nature, multiply. Like, if we send that back to head office, there's going to be a cockroach infestation in our warehouse. So we literally put the console into a bag, just a see-through bag, bug bombed it. So filled it with bug spray, filled it with as much kind of bug killer as we could, and we just threw the thing away. We just threw it into the trash because there was no way we were going to send that to anyone else and risk infecting the rest of the company with cockroaches, and then all of a sudden we're selling cockroach-infested PlayStations, Xboxes, Nintendo Switches, and all sorts. So yeah, we just threw it away, wrote it off the system, threw it away. And that's probably the weirdest thing that happened to me while I worked for Game, and a lot of weird things happened to me while I worked for Game. So yeah, there you go, there you have it. I don't know how they got into the machine. I feel like cockroaches and bugs in general kind of go where it's warm, go where it's dark, and they just kind of want to be somewhere kind of warm, dark, and cozy. So they've obviously crawled inside there and started to make a family, and that's why there were so many of them in there burrowing inside the internals of this PlayStation. And obviously the PlayStation worked when the customers originally had it and set it up, so I can't remember how long it had been working for, but it was a while. So obviously they've got in there and started to mess with the internals, and then it doesn't work anymore. But it was pretty grim. It was a pretty grim thing that I'll always remember. So I don't know, I don't think there's a moral in this story. I think maybe just hoover the insides of your electronics. Maybe that's the moral. I don't know. Open your PlayStation up if you've got one of the old ones. See if there's any bugs living inside there. Maybe that's the moral of the story. But really, there isn't a moral of the story. I just wanted to share it because some weird and wonderful, funny, bizarre things have happened to me at my time during my time in retail, especially in video game retail. And I have a ton of these kind of stories. So if you enjoyed this one, I will happily make more, and I'll film some more of my weird stories that I kind of encountered, because honestly there are tons of them, and they're all as weird and wonderful as each other. So if you want some more, please let me know. I will film some more and I'll let you know, but I just wanted to share this one with you because I think it was quite unique. I've never seen creatures living inside a console before, and I hope I never do ever again. I'm going to resume my normal content now, but as I said, if you do want more kind of weird little like story videos like this that are quite simple and easy for me to film, and I can kind of sit here and just chat, and I enjoy chatting, then I will make them, but I will be resuming my normal content now. I've had a little bit of a break recently. I've been battling with a suspected stomach ulcer, as wonderful as that is, so it's kind of knocked me for 6 at the moment, so I haven't made as much content as I have been doing recently, but I will be picking up steam and starting to put content back on the blocks and starting to make stuff again. So I've got a couple of Will It VR videos coming this week. I'm going to film them I think tomorrow, and then it'll be back into the normal stuff, my horror stuff, my weird stuff. So I am back in full swing, but I would like to do more videos like this, so just drop a like, leave me a comment if you did enjoy it, and hit subscribe if you haven't already. I'll catch you soon for another one, guys. Take care of yourselves. See you later.